Hey everyone, if you guys are a photography studio owner juggling clients, you have editing marathons and that one potentially late model, the last thing you need is a surprise tax bill. In today's video, we're going to be diving into quarterly estimated taxes and how to budget for them, avoid penalties, and also how to make them, so you never have to face another nasty IRS surprise at the end. My name is Travis and I help photography business owners run more profitable studios. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more tips to level up your studio's business size. So, what are quarterly estimated taxes and why you should care? Well, as a self-employed photographer, taxes aren't automatically withheld from your pay. The IRS actually expects you to pay as you earn and not just that one time at the end of the year. So that's where quarterly tax payments come in. So now you might be wondering who needs to pay. If you expect to owe more than $1,000 in taxes for the year, you're going to be required to submit 4 quarterly payments. Most full-time studio owners will hit that threshold, and even part-timers with a profitable side gig also need to pay attention to this. But why should you bother doing this? Well, by doing this, you can avoid paying underpayment penalties. If you don't pay enough taxes throughout the year, you will have to pay interest on the unpaid tax for each quarter that you missed. This will also help smooth your cash flow. No one enjoys getting hit with a massive bill in April. Paying as you go distributes the burden evenly throughout the year. Imagine your tax bill as a client balance. You wouldn't just surprise them with one lump sum and demand 6 months later, so don't surprise yourself. So now I want to give you some real life examples. One of my clients, we'll call him Alex, he ran a small portrait studio and skipped all quarterly payments. He thought he was doing great until April hit. He owed $8,000 in federal taxes plus a few $100s in penalties, and scrambling for that money was worse than dealing with his grumpiest of clients. And then we have Sophia. She was a wedding photographer. Sophia saved roughly 25% of each payment in a separate account, and when the deadline rolled around, she paid on time. There was no stress, there was no surprises. She even received a small refund at the end of the year because she slightly overpaid her taxes. The moral of the story is you gotta be like Sophia, don't be like Alex. If you stay current with your quarterly payments, it is part of running a healthy, profitable business. So now you might be wondering, how do we calculate our quarterly estimated taxes? Well, you can partner with a CPA to really get more accurate numbers, but a good rule of thumb that I give all of my clients is that you want to put away about 25 to 30% of your profits away for taxes. If you're an S-Corp, and assuming you're on payroll, you can get that down even to 20%. I have another video that goes over if being an S-Corp makes sense for you. The deadline to make these payments are on April 15th for quarter 1, June 15th for quarter 2, September 15th for quarter 3, and January 15th for quarter 4. If a due date falls on a weekend or a holiday, it will just shift to the next business day. All right, now let me show you how to pay these taxes. All right, this is the process to make a quarterly estimated tax payment on the IRS website. So what you want to do is you want to go to irs.gov/payments and then click on direct pay with bank account. And then from here, you want to click on pay individual tax. Do not click on pay business tax. You will be making a personal individual tax payment, even if it's for the income of your business. So if I can stress one thing, click on pay individual tax, what we gotta do. And then you want to click on make a payment, and then reason for payment is estimated tax. Everything should auto-populate. You can't select anything else, so. And then from there you hit continue, and then on this screen you need to verify your identity, and basically the way they do this is through the tax return that you recently filed. So select a tax return or a tax year for verification. For example, you can do 2022, and then this is a key important step. If you have moved, or if your address is abbreviated or anything, make sure you enter everything as it is on the first page of your tax return. So just enter your filing status, what your first name was, your last name. A lot of times things will get wrong because the street address does not match. So if you abbreviate a boulevard, make sure you abbreviate boulevard is the point I'm trying to make. And so yeah, basically just look at the tax return you're going to use for verification, and then make sure you enter everything as exactly as you see on the tax return. And then by hitting continue, you should be able to go to the next screen. And then once you do, you just have to enter your payment details, information, how much you want to pay, such as like $2,000. And then on the next screen, you just have to verify everything, and then you can submit it. And then make sure once everything is submitted, print a confirmation screen. That way you have it before you're ready. That is how you make a quarterly estimated tax payment. All right, so that's your crash course on quarterly estimated taxes for photography studio owners. So what we covered was what they are and who needs to pay them, why you shouldn't ignore them, how to calculate, when to pay, and how to budget. It might not be the most glamorous part of your business, but mastering quarterly taxes help you keep more money in your pocket and avoid costly penalties. So you got to focus on what you love, which is creating stunning photographs and growing your studio. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on the business side of your photography studio. And if you have a tax time horror story or a question, drop it in the comments below. I'll be there with advice. So thanks for watching, and happy shooting without that tax stress. Remember guys, a bit of planning now keeps quarterly taxes as routine as swapping batteries mid-shoot. Until next time, focus on what matters in the business and behind the camera.